but I'm going to invite Vern up. And we're going to talk about what it is working on the business with this circle of people. Patty told me to invite you up. Looks like you didn't. Okay.
No, I did.
Okay.
I did. Well, there was confusion about what leadership, as a leadership team, because we have great leaders inside the organization. We have Colette, we have James, we have Benza. Who else is on the leadership team? And Baker's new, right, to the LT team now. And that's part of how we look at leadership. But then there's this executive leadership. I wanted to share with you really quickly why I didn't want to be your CEO. Not because I don't like you. Matter of fact, I don't know all y'all. It's the worst job in the world. You lose all your personal rights. You have no personal rights when you lead. None of it can be for yourself. Everything you say, think, and do has to be about you. It's not our own initiative, it's what you need. And it's relentless. And I've been doing it for many years. I started as a VP in the same company Sam came and worked with me in. I started as a VP there, became the president of that company, and we were everywhere doing everything, and I realized this job sucks. Because I had no personal rights. Everything I had to do was for everybody else. And so I walked away from it and I quit. Then I went and ran a company, 10x that company in a total different industry, and realized I wanted to share this really brief story with you. I went into an commercial or industrial dehumidification company, active desiccants. Ask me what I know about active desiccants, right? And they hired me to run their company. And I was like, okay, I'll give it a whirl. But matter of fact, I'm going to change your agreement. And at the last page of their agreement, I wrote in a clause on the last page of their agreement that said you get to fire me in 90 days. On the 91st day, you get to fire me. And it wasn't the people that hired me. I gave that right to 14 of their leaders. 14 of their leaders, the people that were running the business, doing the work. I sat them down in a group on my very first day, and I explained to them, hey, I'm here to try to help you. I don't know anything about your business. But I wrote another page, and I want you guys to see this page, and I passed it around to them, and I said, you guys either get to keep me or you get to fire me on the 91st day. All I do is leadership. That's all I know. That's all I've committed to, is to provide leadership. That's it. I'm not a product manager. I'm not a marketing guy. I'm not a great salesperson. I'm not an engineer. I went right around the room. I'm none of these things. That's what you do. My job is to serve you. And in 91 days, if one person out of the 14 decides that you're not worth my time or my energy, Vern, I can fire you in that meeting. 1 out of 14 can fire me that day. And I wanted to prove to myself leadership has to matter. It has to be enough. It has to be worthy. And I was scared out of my mind to put myself to that test. Because a lot of those people didn't like me. Half the people love me, half the people hate me. I can't do anything about that. But the reality was, am I leading? Am I serving you? Am I making your life better? That's the test. And 91 days later, 14 people signed that document, and they kept me there for 30 months to actually serve them, and we 10x their business with the same amount of people in the same size building and 10x their business. I'm not going to go looking for a whole bunch more people. I'm not going to go looking for spending a whole bunch of money on things. My job and my energy and this team, this beauty of this executive team, is we are all in for you. Matt, when I wasn't going to say anything about, I'll work here for $1. I chose to say I don't need any more money in life. I could chase more money and do more of those things, and it wasn't on my heart. I said, hey, I have enough. It's not too much. It's not too little. I can live a great retirement. And I said no. I said yes because of Patty Weingard, because of the heart of Jesse Alexander to say, I want to be different. I want to be more. For Gary to say, I relent. For me to have the courage to tell Gary, hey, stop talking to Dev. That's truth and love. Your words carry a lot of weight. To say, hey, Tyler, I don't want your job, but I need to come and do it and to serve you. Hey, Sam, come and join us. No. He said no 3 times. I was like, I think they're going to make a change. We need to really bring systems and organization to this and provide servant leadership to this team because we have amazing people. The heart of Colette amazes me. The energy James puts in, that he just goes all in. I see this, I work in it, and I'm just amazed at the hearts of this team. And when I work with you guys, I met Venza and I was like, I dig this dude. In the dude way. It was just, man, these are people, I want to be sold out. So you're not going to see much of me. One of the things I wanted to let you get, you're not going to see much of me. You're going to see everything I do through this team. Because I'm going to give them everything I have. And this team is going to make a promise to you as well. They're going to give them everything their leadership team needs, and everything that leadership team needs, they promise to give to you. That's how leadership works. Leadership is not being at the top of anything. Leadership is being at the bottom of it all, saying, I own it all, I serve it all, my job is you. That's it. It's not rocket surgery. You have all the answers. I don't. But if I don't listen and I don't understand and I don't decide and I don't really bring that LUDEB into that relationship, I am not a leader. Matter of fact, it would make me worthless because I can't do what you do. My worth is only through your success. That's it. Nothing more, nothing less. And I mean it from the bottom of my heart. When I said no, I said no. I don't want to do this. It costs too much because I am relentless. Patty's like, hey, could you come 2 weeks a month? I said, why don't we go get through the first week, see how that works and how much work that generates? And she's like, yeah, don't ever come here 2 weeks in a row ever. Because I go all in. My engaged team, I wanted to say one thing about engage with you guys too. I was able to semi-retire and just say, hey, whatever you guys need, I'm there for you. My engaged team are ninjas. They are the best of the very best. I was able to walk away from that knowing they're going to double their business in Minnesota. Their commitment to one another and to their customers. Do you know I get customer calls that people call me. Customers call me and say, I just wanted to let you know your team is so amazing and we just love you guys. Please never leave us. Because of the hard work of Sean and Cheryl and Billy and Scott and Jonathan and Jay and Jim, that what they do and they're all in is something that we owe each other. And I was able to semi-retire and go mow grass, and I knew that they were great. And it all comes down to one central theme that they do every Monday morning, which I want us to introduce and learn and work together, and it's called Leadership Monday. Everything rises and falls on leadership. They do it every Monday. Every Monday morning, they share a leadership thought and where we're at, and hey, this is a new thing to learn and how to apply that to our lives. This team, this executive team, is nothing more than your servant. And here's the thing. If that doesn't convey rightly in some conversation, I don't care if it's at midnight, I don't care if it's at 3 a.m, you will get my cell phone number. You let me know if there's something going on that, hey, this didn't feel right to me. This isn't the servant heart that I was hoping for, or man, I really didn't understand this. You hit me. You come straight to me. I'm all in. Colette and I have done this. Hey, I'm really challenged with this thing. Can you help? Yep, all in. What happened next?
Over and over again, same thing. You helped me with it. Got through it.
It's a promise, and I don't break them. Colette's family is now my family. I care about everything going on in her life.
All right. So like Vern was saying, we decided to reflect these things in separate concepts, hopefully, so it would bring clarity to the idea of we have a group of people that are working and focused on the business. That's what Vern was just talking about with your executive team. Your leadership team is functional with you in the business every day. And so, like, you'll notice that the group's expanded, right? And that's, I mean, James, which we like are so happy that he's able to get the things that are happening with him in his life, like going on, and we so miss him today because we love when he comes in town. Chris Baker, who's been doing a fantastic job taking over our people and culture function. Colette with GTM and growth and stepping in a lot of instability and helping provide stability to the team. And Venza, who's like our trusted, steady, like strong force, you know, behind the scene. You know that when Chris starts doing his beard like this, that you need to like go have a follow-up like conversation and go, okay, what's going on? Because you're sensing something. And that's a very valuable gift. So this group of people is with you in the day-to-day, like Vern was saying. And so as he's providing leadership to that executive function, I'm providing leadership to the working in the operational part of the business, and the way that Jesse and I partner together and him driving change, like we talked about in some of those videos, right? Like Jesse helps identify the change and architect it, and then he passes it off to me to help operationalize it. So we're gonna see this rhythm and this fluid like relationship in the business. Look, we're all working it out, so I'm sure we're gonna make mistakes. I don't doubt that. But I know that what we do next is from a heart of wanting to get it right, and it's from a heart of wanting to serve you in it. And like Vern was saying, like we actually really do wanna know. The things that aren't working, we wanna know. And does it mean we're always gonna meet eye to eye on it? No, we won't. Like, that's part of the truth part. But what I do commit to you is that we will work together to find the path forward. And we'll work on finding that path forward together. So we're really excited about the dynamic. I think some of the idea of a team of people focused on the business and working in the business, I mean, I look at the two of you and I go, like, you just, no wonder why you need a vacation. Like, it's so much when you're trying to do both. And Tyler's worn that hat for a long time of trying to do integrator and visionary. It's extremely difficult to hold intention with one another. And so this structure, it helps resource the organization the way that you guys need to be able to move forward. Because there's nothing more frustrating than being in your day-to-day and you want to do a good job. Like, you want to do a good job and you don't feel like you're hitting a roadblock, and you don't feel like, yeah, you can get to what's next. And so that's what this is all about. It's helping you get unstuck. It's helping provide clarity about where we're going, and helping ensure that we've got the right rhythm in the company. And that's how I think about it. I think about it as rhythm and like breathing. And so I know Baker and I were talking about that 2 days ago of like, all right, we're entering into a season of like cadences and rhythm in the business. And you'll see more of that. And we're gonna work with you guys to understand what the rhythms are that you need, because it's not about imposing something. It's about finding, like when I think of a rhythm, I think about something that's natural and it flows and you join in it. And it's life-giving when you join in it. And there's actual business practices that are that way, so that when you're doing your work, it's life-giving to you, and it's life-giving to the people that you interact with, whether it's your team members or whether it's your partners or whether it's your merchants. So this is what we're all about now.
Yeah. There was one thing said earlier I really want to challenge you guys' thinking on. Get a mentor. Get a trusted mentor. It was talked about a number of times through this, and we all need them. I have two in the room right now. Trey Gaskins and Dave Deming have become mentors to me because of their experience and how they look at things and bringing excellence. And I have another in this room too that I forgot he flew in too, Jim Caesar. I'm the world's worst manager by a landslide. I'm not a manager. I don't do manager things. And you need both leaders and managers working in unity. And Jim became this expert manager, just world-class manager. And I've learned to adopt how to work with people and really listen in and lean into their experience. And I really want to challenge you guys in this to really seek trusted mentors in your life that you're really learning, you're really growing, and you're really being stretched. Scott probably giggled when he was thinking about that rubber band. Did you smile when Tyler was doing that? I made the team wear rubber bands to remind them the tension that I'm going to create in the organization. Put it around your wrist. And if you need to be reminded that you need some tension to grow, because we don't grow naturally, we have to grow through tension. We have to cause, it's a causality thing. And so I would say, man, go ahead and snap your band, man. Just give yourself some reminder of some pain about why you're thinking that thought, because you're not seeing this growth. And this team, this young team that I was able to mentor was I couldn't be more proud of them. The people that they have become and what they're able to do. And I didn't talk about Mike Berg as well. Mike Berg's gonna, when you guys introduce and you guys work with Mike Berg's gonna say this super unsatisfying thing to you. He'll make you explain in great detail what you're wanting and needing, and he'll force you into this clarity conversation, and then he says this, I don't get it. And you want to punch him right in the throat. I don't get it. And what he's saying in Mike Berg's amazing way is, no, you don't get it. You're not able to clarify this at the level that allows me the ability to actually move this into something of worth. I didn't know that the first 7-8 years working together, and I was just so aggravated. I want us to adopt a Mike Bergism. So Mike, I hope you're watching this, because let's talk about him when he's not in the room, right? That makes it the most fun. Challenge each other to, hey, I got your information, I got your idea, I don't get it. I want us to move into more clarity with just really safely, very valuably. Let's get it. Let's challenge each other to say, you know what? Hey, I understand that. I see what you're saying. No, I don't get it. Bring it further. Because a lot of the things that we're working on, we didn't get it. We knew about this thing, but we really didn't get it, and we didn't go through that deducing and inducing process required. That's what we're going to do next. So I want to challenge us. I don't get it. Take it further, because if we cannot clarify it, this company, if we can't clarify it, we will never simplify it. If we can't simplify it, we'll never lead the marketplace. We're going to hear that over and over and over again. So real simple. I grew up a block layers kid. I'm a 6th generation mason, learned how to lay block and pour concrete. And at 19 years old, I said, I don't want to do that. You know why? I didn't really want to work that hard. I was like, that was really hard work. I don't want to do that. My father at the time was 51 years old when I said, I'm out. I don't want to do this. I was the oldest grandson, so it was my duty to take over our 6th generation business. About 240 employees. We did commercial projects all over the country. And I hated the work. I hated that work. And so I quit. My father didn't talk to me for 4 years. I bought a house right down the street. And he drove past my house back and forth twice a day for 4 years and would never say anything to me, because I had hurt a relationship because I couldn't talk to my dad. Did anyone else have a dad that 1 grunt was yes and 2 grunts was no? Anybody? My dad grunted, right? Not a lot of deep conversation there. Hard worker, and loved him dearly. But I didn't want to do what my whole family had done since 1822. It wasn't in my heart. When I stepped out of that, I started a little lawn care business, chemical lawn spraying. It was the easiest thing I'd ever done in my life. I went and knocked 3,000 doors. My girlfriend, which is now my wife, Darcy, we've been married 33 years. We have 2 amazing kids, 4 grand boys. Yes, 4 grand boys. So we're gonna have some fun. I knew I had to go do the work that I was wanting to do. I wanted to be a business owner. I said, you know what I want to do? I want to go and do business. I don't want to do concrete. It was kind of a feast or famine world. But I knew I wanted to be a business owner. So my wife and I, my girlfriend and I, Darcy, we went and knocked 3,000 doors in 2.5 communities and got all the customers I needed because somebody told me, well, you need a business plan. That sounds good. What's a business plan? Well, you got to know what it costs. You got to know what you're going to sell it for. You got to know how many you can do. You have to know the seasonality of it. And he walked me through. His name is Dallas Hawes. Dallas Hawes owned half of the community I lived in. He died shoveling the snow on his own hotel sidewalk at 58 years old. But he taught me a very simple, valuable lesson. You know what you want to do and you do it, but you have to have a plan, and it starts with a goal. If you have the wrong goal, you'll work yourself right out of a business by either lack of profitability or the lack of collecting. There's lots of profitable businesses that deal with cash flow problems that never realize the value of their business because they have cash flow problems. So I said, wow, this is all really interesting. I needed this, 178 customers, average size yard of this, my chemical cost was this, my equipment cost, capital cost was this, and my price was this, and I could do this many based on how many days of sun, and this was before ChatGPT, Gary. I'm building a sauna in my house this summer, and I was like, how many square feet of clear white or red cider do I need to build a sauna that's 8.5 by 12 foot by 8.5 tall? 1,462 square feet, or linear board feet at 3.5-inch tongue and groove. I was like, wow, that saved me an hour. I'm glad I didn't save that hour when I was 19 years old. I'm glad I wasn't able to save any of that time because I had to do the work, and the goal was simple, it was clarified, it was easy, it was understandable, and I could do the work. I didn't have to hire anyone. I could do all the work myself and actually produce an income. And at 19 years old, I was making $65,000 a year. That's back in 1990. $65,000 a year. I was working about 5 months a year. Not a bad gig. And I thought, this is easy. Why wouldn't everybody do this? Well, everybody didn't have Dallas Hawes to tell them this is the way you do it. This is the order and organization. He sent me to the Faribault print shop. Milo Larson. Milo Larson. I said, hey, Dallas Hawes sent me here to get a flyer. Apparently I need a flyer because I need to go knock doors and I need a flyer. Well, what do you do? Well, I do this thing. He goes, we got it. We'll do it all for you. Well, how much? No, you're a new business owner. You're a young kid. Free. But I'm going to give you this ugly colored paper because that looks like a chemical if you're going to go kill weeds. And it's left over. I'll do it all for free. Do you see what I learned very quickly? That people need to serve one another and be radically involved in each other's lives to say, here's what you need to do, and I'll do it with you. It changed my life because 3 years later, I sold that company. That business is still a business to this day. The guy is still running it. Now, my mentor also told me, do not pay the $25 fee for the certificate of assumed name that you have to go post in the paper for 2 weeks to have a certificate of assumed name. It was $25. He said, just come up with something clever. So my family pronounces our last name in Northfield, Minnesota, Swedin. But that would be German. I met my Swedish cousins in Sweden. They said, that is German. That is stupid. Your name is Swedin. Swedin. So anyways, it was Swedin. That's what I thought it was. And so I named my company Grass So Green by Vern Swedin. Double or satisfaction guaranteed or double your weeds back. Because I didn't want to pay the $25. The guy that bought it from me, go ahead and Google it or chat GPT it or whatever you want to do with it. Grass So Green by Tom Ledeen. You cannot make this up. His son runs that company now. They're all over the Twin Cities. It's a beautiful thing. I just wanted to share a story of goals start with simplicity. You have to be simple. I didn't want to tell this story, but it's so funny, I have to. Greg Sloan, we walk out of a meeting. We clarified these goals together as a team. We shared them with the leadership team, and people were clapping. Am I lying, Colette? Clapping like, that's amazing. Get Venza to clap once. Give me a break. I mean, clapping. Greg walks out and goes, they clapped. Are you kidding me? You didn't do anything that was unique or I don't know how I'm horrible at verbatim. And he's like, that was the simplest stuff in the world. And I said, yeah, that's business. So I'm going to walk you through a little journey of what simple looks like. And I want to riff. I want to talk with you about it. This isn't a monologue next. This is a dialogue. We're going to talk about certain things. And I really want you guys to be fearless in telling me what you think. Yeah? Yin? All in? All in. I got to do a little teach. Who knows what EBITDA is? Good. EBITDA. Yeah, I can read. EBITDA has less to do with these words than it does with this visual. EBITDA has more to do with this visual of this rowing the boat all in sequence together than it does about the earnings before interest, taxes, depreciation, and amortization. It has more to do knowing we're in the boat together and we are going to do this one thing. If all we did together was be in the same boat and somebody said, on one row, we would carry that momentum further than what we're doing today. Because right now, everybody's just rowing. Woo-hoo-hoo! We're doing this. Row. It's a foundation of how EBITDA works. EBITDA is about our earnings, what we can produce without causing harm and pain to others. About figuring out what it is they need the most and what are we willing to do to be patient, long-suffering, caring, developed, and timed to bring that product and service to fruition that people will rave about you. How many people want people to rave about your product and service? Show of hands. Whew. You passed the first test. It's about rowing together. I'll talk about these individual goals, but earnings before any interest, what we pay for notes, if we start doing M&A and we start taking on debt instruments, or we start looking at taxation and how tax treatment gets used and how we have to absorb tax process. Greg's a great mentor to this team to bring in really clear information around how financials are the guide to accounting practice. And I went to school, just so you guys know, I went to school initially for accounting. And I went to school for accounting because I had no idea what credit and debit meant. And I sat in these meetings like I was supposed to know something, and I was sitting there very quiet. Why? Because I didn't know anything. So I sat in these meetings very quiet, looking at P&L statements and cash flow statements, cash forward statements, and balance sheets, and I didn't know what was what. So privately at night, I went to school and went and got my accounting information and understood it. Then, as I understood this, I realized that finance is the core driver of clear EBITDA. Finance is your guide. Finance is what has to go first. Finance is strategic, it's planning. But before I could do that, I had to go to school for marketing because my good friend Sam went to school for marketing. I was like, man, that guy knows stuff. That's amazing. I really think I did. Then I sat in a marketing conversation with Ira Barr. Do you remember? Did you meet Ira? So I got Ira fired. He was the chief marketing officer of Dish Network because I was sitting in a meeting and they were going to spend $260 million that year on marketing, and we were the commercial part of that. And we were going to get like $6 million or something out of this budget. And Charlie Ergen, at that time, the 16th richest person on earth, turns to his partner, Jim DeFranco, and says, yeah, hey, Jim, if we didn't spend any money on this, would we still have the same amount of new customers? That's what he said to Jim. And Jim, probably. And so Ira keeps selling us on these ideas, this invention. This is in Boulder, Colorado at an offsite meeting. And I started asking questions because I didn't know anything. And Charlie said, yeah, I kind of agree with Vern. I know this stuff. I listen to these meetings over and over. Ira basically got fired about a month later after that. They had a big meeting and it's like, man, I don't know what we're doing. And I thought, wow, marketing really needs to be the core guide of a business because marketing breaks down in some very clear simplicity for you all. And I want to share this with you because it impacts how you look at EBITDA. EBITDA is a lag measurement. It's like, I know I need to lose 30 pounds. I step on the scale and it says, one at a time, please. And so, but that's a lag measurement. If I'm not eating well or getting exercise, the report card's going to tell me, yep, you need to still lose 30 pounds. But I've been wanting that so badly. I've been wanting to do that. But I stand on that scale and it gives me this lag information. The lead information is called marketing. So we're going to talk about marketing a little bit before we talk about this goal, because I want it to be so simple in what you understand that you have the right information. So I went to school for marketing. Spent all my evenings going to marketing classes, understanding marketing. Why? Because I didn't know anything. And I felt, man, this has got to be important. And then I learned about the 4 Ps of marketing. Anybody know the 4 Ps? Yeah. Product. Product is the first P. Do you know what goes with product? ICP. If you don't have an ideal client profile, you cannot define your product. Capiche? Sorry?
You said capiche, it's not C.
C.
Italian.
Capiche?
Something like that.
C. Italians here. You got to just go with them.
There's a lot of them.
There's a lot of them. We love the Italians. Your meatballs, your spaghetti. So, it starts with product. Product has to be driven by a clear ICP or you cannot row the boat to EBITDA. Yeah? That's how clear this should be in our minds, and we need to row this boat together. It's not what the leaders do. It's not what the leadership team does. It's what we do, and if we don't communicate it in the right way, we can't row the boat together, nor be even on the boat. Because all we're doing is splashing around. The first thing is product. It pairs with your ICP. What's the second thing? Jesse raised his hand. What's the second thing in marketing? No. Wah, wah. Everyone turn and shame Jesse, please, just for a second. Pricing. Pricing is the second level of marketing. You have to go into pricing. Why is pricing important? Because you have to understand your cost. You have to find your equilibrium in what the cost and market capability is within it. And you build this super important thing that drives the EBITDA. It is called business model. You have to have a clear business model to have EBITDA to row the boat. If you don't have a very clear, simple, repeatable business model, you cannot talk about EBITDA with me. So, what happens when entrepreneurs are running the boat? And this is no offense to Gary and Tyler. We would not be here without them. Let me say that again. None of us would be standing here on this Versi soil without their entrepreneurialism. So that's not a dig, that's a direction. It's understanding what's different about this. What has to happen with pricing and business modeling is you have to know exactly what my cost is and exactly what my price is in comparison to my marketplace competition and what the value of what I'm selling to the customer is a raving outcome. Man, you guys are amazing. The value you give me for what you do, it's found in your business modeling drives your EBITDA. Now, I had a rule when my wife and I bought Engage and said, hey, we're going to give it away. We're going to build it and give it away. Why? Because I wanted to make certain that I had partners. That was the why behind it. And I didn't want to have too much in life. I've met people with too much. Billionaires, they suck when it's not enough. When it's never enough, I don't care if it's $1 million or $1 billion, when it's never enough, it overwhelms you to be around that. And I never wanted to be the guy that had too much, and I never wanted to be the guy that had too little, because then I couldn't be available and do stuff for $1. The business model drives the capability to have a proper EBITDA. It drives the capability. Entrepreneurs like one thing that we're going to root out in our organization as a goal, we are not going to have variability. One has to mean many. And what I mean by variability is I got this deal with this person and a deal with this person, and that's what entrepreneurs are forced to do to get belief and to get a market going. It's something you have to do when you start. So it's not a fault, but you have to also put a stop sign in and say, we can't do that. We have to have variability, because when we have variables that are not clear and documentable, what happens is it causes chaos. It causes, well, I don't know what to do with this. We did this with this, and then we did this and this, and then we have this, and then you can't catch up. And so at this size organization, we're going to remove the variability. Now, there's going to be things that we already do, and I'm not going to break promises with people, because why I'm here is because of Gary Lou. That dude made a promise and kept it. That's why Engage was here, because of that man. Years ago. But I will remove variability. Going forward, we will have business modeling that actually makes sense, driven by a product and ICP. Is a partnership between technology and marketing. Because you can't sell what you can't define. You can't build systems around things you can't define. And when you can't define it, you will not find your EBITDA as a marker, as a goal, as a measurement stick. You'll step on the scale and say, didn't make any more money. Wonder why? Because it's all the lead things we have to do and the systems we need to put in place today. The next thing, Jesse was spot on. Good answer, Jesse. Placement. Placement is you choose direct marketing, where they're your customer. You have to do all the work. You got to find them. You got to bring them to fruition, and you got to serve them, yeah? Indirect marketing is somebody else does that, and you service them so they can have that ISV-VAR relationship. And we have crossed that chasm. Gary asked me a very wise, astute question. Gary asked me a simple question. Vern, when it's a TAP program, is that an indirect customer or a direct customer? And I said, yes. See, it starts as an indirect referral, but the second we do the work and we have to service that, it now becomes a direct customer. So there's a lot of things that need to go on in that business modeling to know that I have to do all those things after the fact. Then I have to share revenue in that. And we have to have this business modeling determination and equilibrium that drives those outcomes. And then what is the fourth thing you do in marketing? Who said it? Promotion. Thank you, Jim. Now, what happens when you start promoting before the product's ready? The pricing modeling is complete and business modeling, and your placement is identified and managed and systemized. What happens? What effect do you think that has on EBITDA? Yeah. It really challenges your EBITDA because it's not predictable any longer. One of my mentors here, Trey, shared this philosophy around predictable business. He's like, read this book. Another book. You have to read books. You have to learn things. Why? People know things. I'm the dumbest guy in the room, so I read a lot of books. Because I want to know what other people already know so I can actually adopt and adapt and bring that into fruition and gain some of those elements to bring those into our lives. So that means I got to work really hard. That the 80, 90 hours a week I work does not include my reading, which I read about 20 to 30 books a year. Why? Because I have to do the work. When I bought Engage, little quick story, I didn't know anything about this business. So Jonathan, what did I do the first 9.5 months of that business? 2:30, but thank you. I set my alarm at 2:30 a.m. I was 45 years old, and I set my alarm at 2:30 a.m. Why? Because I didn't know anything about the business, and I was there to serve and lead a team, and I had to do work and understand the business all on my time, because at 7:15, I had to take a shower, get on the road, be in the office, and get there first and get to work and touch all these things to try to bring this business from a very challenging business. The dude pulled the grenade, sold me the grenade. I bought it. Boom! It was so fun. It's like a cartoon, man. But I was the coyote in this one. And I set my alarm at 2:30 in the morning. I got home at 5:50-ish. I ate dinner for about 17 minutes. And I went back to work until 10:30 p.m. And then I went to sleep, and I got up at 2:30 a.m. and I did that for 9.5 straight months. Why? Because I didn't know anything. I was not the leader that team deserved. I had to do the work. Why? Because I knew I couldn't have anything predictable about this business based on my knowledge and based on my ability. So I owed them everything. Why that's important in this story is, the fact is please trust us when we tell you we know in our knower. This is not something that I kind of worked through and kind of worked on. Tyler was the first person to say, man, I don't like that statement, you know in your knower. I said, well, it's true. And I have to be that person. So when I get to the point, I simply go because of what I know. But you have to trust people that are willing to do the work. Because EBITDA does not happen as a lag measurement in the way my leader brain works. EBITDA is a lead measure. I predict it. I know what work to do, and I work with a team that knows what to do, and we work those things until we get the result. Sean, is that true? Sean was a merger of our business. Sean worked 100 hours a week. I'm not kidding. I'm not even making that up. Relentless effort and development. And hey, we need to hire some dev people. I can't. And I told you, I'm right out of the gate. I'm loving and truthful. We can't. We hire anybody that's going to slow us way down, and we have to get through this process as fast as we possibly can. And Sean, thank you. Cheryl, thank you. Billy, thank you. Scott and Jonathan really didn't. I'm kidding. That I knew the work that they were promising to do, because why? They were owners of this business as well. It was that important to us. So, EBITDA is not a lag measure. That's what you'll be told in every organization you'll ever work in. It is a lie from the pit of hell. EBITDA is not a lag measure. I can see the EBITDA through lead measurements and lead efforts and lead organization and lead systems and lead data and lead business intelligence and lead efforts every time. I have 10x'd every business I've ever been in. Matter of fact, Sam and I were working in a business, and I remember we hit our big goal, and the owner put his arm around me and said, boy, you're going to have a tough time beating that number next year. We had 10x'd his business in less than 30 months. And the audacity of this man to tell me, we're going to have a tough time beating that next year. I thought, wow. I thought Man, wouldn't this felt better if you said good job? Okay, cool. It was all based by design. EBITDA is an outcome that happens in advance. You have to plan for it and you have to develop around it. I don't know which way I go. We'll try this one. No, I had it right. It's down. Let's talk about Tonic. I want to give you a very simple goal around this product. One, we're going to stabilize the product before we keep selling it. How about that? No, really. How about that? Now, is that for us or is it for our customer?
Yes.
Yes. Who said that first? Yeah! My man. It just causes us chaos. And Gary and Tyler were 100% right. The market has to have POS driven by truthful, valuable partners. Fact. 100% truth. The market needs that. But what the market needs is a stable product that we know in our knower. And to do that, we have to have a very clear, simplified ICP. Very clear, simplified ICP. I'm going to tell you guys the work that's going to happen. Sam's actually, this dude signed up to go to my house for a week. And I'm like this all the time. So if you never see Sam again, you know what happened. He gave up. He rowed the boat the other way. It's mission critical. This software we're talking about, point of sale, is a mission critical software. Did you know that? That when this product fails, what happens to the restaurateur? What happens in their brain? What level of panic goes through their life when that product doesn't meet what they need to do?
100%.
Yes, hair on fire. And if you don't believe us, call James Cooey. He'll tell you. So we're going to manage that ICP. We're going to work on that. Adam, where's Adam? He just presented. Adam started this process today. He was only going to just riff with Gary and I, but I don't know, like 15 people showed up to talk about, hey, here's some data we're starting to pull around what is our personas of our product and what we fit and what are those percentages. And that is the blood of business, because it starts with your product. And you have to know what my product can do and for whom. Okay. We are going into a reset. We're going to minimize all promotion on Tonic. All. The only deals we're going to do is that we already have dealers out there that, yep, we know what we're selling. We know we're going to put this in. We are going to allow them to place those orders and we're going to service them. We're likely only going to see about 100 customers added to our book of business next year through that. But we are going to set down our pom-poms. I am not going to wear my cheerleading skirt this year. You're welcome. And we are going to focus on the reset of this to really bring our product development and marketing teams in clarity to drive out the simplest thing we can make a promise against. We are going to make promises and keep them internally and externally. So when I said my job is to serve you, I hope you're on this journey with me. Are you willing to serve your customers? Because I believe that about this team. I believe that entirely, internally, externally. But we have to go first. We have to bring that leg or that lead measurement of information of simplifying what we're going to do, what we're going to promise to do, and stay in a very simple path. And then we're going to grow through simply focusing on our existing customers. Those customers need some truth and they need some love, yes? How could we do that? Let's go around the room. This is where I said we're going to be a little dialoguing here. How can we do that with existing Tonic customers? One at a time. No, let's hear it. Yeah, sorry. Dual pricing, yep. Advantage pricing, yes. Helping them bring that tool that impacts their business Do you know dual pricing or advantage pricing? Because it could be NCA in some markets, could be surcharging in others. Do you know that that can double the profitability of a restaurant? Literally double. Backslide, EBITDA. Most restaurants only make about 5 to 7% net. Did you guys know that on their revenue? These people work 80 hours a week. They work so hard. They do that because of their American dream. It's an easy entry marketplace for people to be restaurateurs. And they want to live the American dream. And I say we owe it to them to live that American dream and try to give them their time back and improve their profitability. What else can we do to focus on our existing customers?
Auto close.
Auto close, yes. Heard that. Store and forward. Well, there's things that we have to have. I was talking with Edie about this last night. You know, we have to say, hey man, we have some stability issues, and she's right. But I also know there's some things that these 365 customers, Tonic, is that the amount? Is that the number? They have to have certain features or else they are not viable. Somebody else had their hand up. Yes, sir.
Better utilization and capture of data in the form of reporting so that people can actually see what their sales are and how to increase them and print and so on.
Yes, help them run their business. Data runs the business. John.
I just want to simplify that. How about accurate reports?
Accurate reports. Yeah. Yeah. Life-changing. This is mission-critical software. Accurate reporting. Auto close. Store and forward. Things that we know in our knower. Data that runs the business. We owe them that. That's what we're going to focus on in 2026. Am I missing this somehow? Am I being obtuse in any way that I'm missing this? That's what we're doing with Tonic. We're fully committed to it. It's the right vision. It's the right strategy. Now let's do it right. Remove the noise, remove the chaos. This team, I'll tell you what, our team has this ability, and we're going to do that. We're going to bring this to a very clear, simple, reliable thing this year. Bold. Bold represent what percentage of our business revenue, Patty? 98%. Did y'all know that? Does it alarm you the way it alarmed me that we don't work on that business really? Because that alarmed me. Not going to lie. Wait a minute, 98% of our business comes. If that's in millions, that's carry the one. That's a lot. And so we started asking very simple questions. Hey, what promises do we need to make and keep that actually make Bold viable in a very highly competitive market? We have to do things that are uncommon to actually be different and valuable in those. Trust only goes so far. We have 325 ISV VAR partnerships that we've signed. We send payments to about 220 of those. Only 55 of those are active. How about we build systems, tools, and process around how do we help them be active and what are we going to do to make that viable because we owe them before we ask them. Have you ever heard that? We owe them before we can ask them. That's a proven rule in running a business. You owe them before you ask them. I have a rule in our business. Jonathan, if I ask you for $1 as a customer, what do I owe you in value? $5. $5. If I ask you for $1 of revenue, $1 of your money, as a business guy, simple math, I owe you $5. You send me $1,000 a month, I have to improve your business $5,000. Would you sign up for that? If I could prove it and you were like, I'm in. It would be dumb not to. If I can prove to you that if I ask for you to, hey, invest $1 with us and I'll give you $5 back. In Bold, I'm going to ask for $1 investment but I'm going to promise 2 back. Why? Because the margin. Our margin in our products run at about 82 to 84% at Engage, roughly, right? Tonic runs at a smaller margin than that. And so now we have to work, okay, if I ask for $1, I have to show them how I give them value back in running their business. And if we don't formulate that value proposition in our own minds, how can you possibly go and scale and repeat that? Yeah, that's a war I wouldn't want to be in. So we're going to change the methodology on it. We're going to look at it rightly and differently and figure out, well, what is it that customers need, want, desire? And we're going to actually look at our value proposition and we're going to place that against that. Chris and team have been working, and Gary have been working on, and Jesse working on a bold business plan. You guys are about 70, 80% done with that right now. Is that right? Accurate? Nobody can hear your nod. Yeah. When are we going to, so watch this, team. You're going to love this. When are we going to get the rest of it? The other 20 to 30%. He said the end of the month. So let's ask Chris. End of the month. How many people would like to have a business plan for Bold at the end of the month? Okay, good. Why? Let's go back to the test. What was it, the percentage of our revenue as a company? 98. Well done. Very good. Very good job. That impacts our value prop to the marketplace differently than what Tonic can do today. Tonic needs to go through its metamorphosis, and we have to bring that into fruition, and then it's going to start impacting our business, but it's really going to have a tough time competing with 98% of the revenue this company produces, so we need to be focused on the right things at the right time, and when we all get together in the same boat, we grab our paddles, and I yell 1, what do we say? Row. Together. Ready? When I get in the boat, we're all in the boat, we all have our paddles, I lift up, I yell, on, or 1, row. I don't know how that would work. True story, I am a whitewater rafting guide, level 5 certified, so just so you know, but that's chaos. I don't tell everybody to do it at the same time. I tell them things like, we will pick your dead body out of the water in about 2 miles if you don't do exactly what I tell you to do. Haven't done that for years, though. I'm old. So, Bold, what it does best, we have to focus on payments, products, and services. We have to understand what is our real value opportunity, and we're going to bring it back to the 4 Ps. We're going to start with looking at the product. We're not going to be talking about EBITDA, and so we start talking about productization. Isn't that right, Sam? He knows. And then we're going to run it through a business model and do a pricing exercise and know competitively, is this the right thing? Right, Sam? I'm just confirming with Sam. I know he knows. And then we're going to place that rightly. We have indirect, which is how much of that is indirect business, Tyler? Bold mids.
80%.
80%. Well, that means that we have to put a lot of energy into our indirect strategies and bring that value into fruition. And then what are we going to do after we do all that work? What are we going to then do? Promote it. In that order. That's how we're going to do that. We're going to improve our service level agreement. How many people realize that we have problems? What are some of the problems with our SLAs right now? With our Bold customers?
They don't understand what they are.
Yeah, they might not have gotten the real training behind SLA and have a deep understanding and then really be held accountable at the customer level of saying, hey, this is the way it works, right? What else do we have problems with SLAs?
SLA is the priority SLA. They're the same.
Yes. We have, and how good is priority at their SLA promise? So it's a slap. SLAP. So their SLA became a slap because they broke their promise, right? Well, guess what? They don't care that that priority broke that promise. That's on us. So we're going to be working really hard at how are we going to pair up an SLA, whether it's swivel chairs, taking more ownership of what we do to increase that output, and we're going to make promises and then keep them. And it's done through service level agreements. That's super important to our next strategy, and we're working with another partner as well to find how deep can we go into that process with you. Because here's something that don't tell anybody else, because this is just an executive conversation. But when you are single sourced as one vendor, your business is at risk. So when you single source your business and say, yep, that's my one vendor, your business is now at risk. Don't think that I don't want you to know that. So when I tell you we have to make some changes, it's not because I like change, it's because I'm trying to remove risk from our business. So when I say, hey, we got to move 20 to 30% of our business or our new growth all has to come from this channel, what's your answer?
Grow.
Yes.
Grow. Because if we stall on that and we don't see that, we're leaving our business at risk. I mean, it would never happen a million years, but Priority could simply say, well, we're going to charge you 1 basis point more. I know that would never happen. Do you see what happens, though, when you have to go explain that to all your vendors and all the mids, right? That puts your business at risk, and you've removed your negotiation power with your vendor when, hey, you're my only vendor. So I'm telling you this because we are going to run this business together. I want you to understand that this isn't about what the executives do or don't do. It's what we do together. When I say one, we say 20 to 30% of our business has to go to another provider. We have to know, can we control the SLA? Can we improve our offering? Can we align that with our IPPs and ICPs, our ideal partner profiles and our ideal customer profiles? Because when we can do that with a vendor and they take that seriously, we can then start building SLAs that actually we can keep. Imagine that. We are going to run this business together because it impacts our EBITDA. EBITDA is the measurement of our value as a business and whether we're healthy or not healthy, whether we can hire or fire. EBITDA is just a simple thing that says, yes, we have a healthy business. I love the fact that I'm here as a CEO to serve you with a healthy business. Because this would be much harder if we weren't healthy. You guys have run a great business. We just now have to rechart the course. Also, just so you know, I'm also a master captain through the United States Coast Guard. So every time I got bored, my boss would send me away for like 2 months. Went and became a whitewater rafting guy with a bunch of college kids in the mountains for a couple of months. Went and got a master captain's license for a couple of months. And it's because I couldn't just take 2 months off. I had to do something. And captaining a boat looks like this. So Captain Sean, so I am not a straight A student because I have this thing called ADD. What was I talking about? And so I had to go to this 2-month captain's course to run a 100-ton ship. Because I wanted the best license, the hardest license you can possibly get. Because if we go to war, I want to drive supply ships, and I signed the paper and sworn in at the United States Coast Guard because I want to be your guy. Why? I want to be in harm's way from the people I love. Literally said that. So I went and did this course, and I picked out, there's like 30 other people in this course, and I picked out this dude. His name was Captain Sean Holler, United States Coast Guard. And he looked like smart, neat. And I sat down next to him because you have to buddy up with somebody to go through the class process. I said, why are you in this class? You're a captain in the United States Coast Guard for 28 years. Why are you doing this? Oh, because I'm buying a resort in Maine, and to have a fishing license, you have to go through this captain's course to take people fishing. You're a captain in the United States Coast Guard. They're going to make you go through this remedial Yep, that's just the way it is. I said, oh, there's government for you. But I partnered up with Captain Sean Holler, and he said, hey, I'd like to take you out on a trip. Would you like to go out on an 88-foot cutter with me in South Padre Island, Texas? I said, yes, sir, I would like to go with you. So he takes me out. We're walking up a gangplank onto this cutter, a little destroyer ship. Walking, you know a cutter, you see those when you're doing that stuff? I'd never seen one. I never really paid attention. So I'm looking at stuff, and Sean stops, and I almost bump into the guy because I'm looking around, going up this gangplank. He stops, and sorry, buddy. I back up, and he stood on the end of this gangplank, one step away from stepping on the deck of that ship, and stood there. 10, 20, 30, 40 seconds, I don't know what went by, and somebody yelled at the top of their lungs, "Captain on deck!" And Sean Holler took one step on, and every person on that ship stopped and turned and saluted. I was like, this is cool. If I pass this class, I'm going to make everybody do that someday. I felt the amount of leadership that happened in that moment, and I was awed by it. But that means everyone has to know that information together. So when I talk about EBITDA, I don't want you guys to think about it as some accounting thing. I want you to know that we're trying to run the business, and we're going to row the ship together. So I want you to know it at that level. It's different from thinking about it as a number. No, it's our activities. It's what we plan for. It's what we prepare for. I want to introduce Engage. It still says IT, but that's okay. Our biggest customer calls us Engage It. Our biggest customer actually went into a meeting with Jonathan Argis and I, and we walk into the conference room, we sit down at the table, waiting for him. He came in about 15 minutes late to our meeting, iced us, I think they call it. And he walks in, 6'4", hockey player guy. "I effing hate technology." And he didn't say effing. And my response was this: "That's amazing. We love technology. Dude, brother, you just dipped your chocolate in my peanut butter." And he went, "What in the world is going on? I'm supposed to intimidate you." No, dude. You should hate technology. That's what we love. That's why we're here. He's our number one partner today. He loves us. He said, "Man, I can't do this." They run $60, $80 million of processing a year. We run all their restaurants, all their programs, all of their point of sale. They're using our Sale POS product. They're using some scheduling. They're going to be a customer coming up because that just launched, so they're going to start dabbling in our scheduling software. We decided that our ICP for scheduling said that we could do about 60 to 70% of what Hot Schedules does, and actually do it smarter, better, faster, and cheaper for the actual customer. Because the promise that we made in scheduling and in point of sale is that our goal is to save you time and money. So the relentless amount of work that goes into things has to do two things. It has to save our clients time, and it has to save them money, or else we're not doing it right. Scheduling was very simple. I couldn't go and compete with Hot Schedules. I didn't have $50 million in 7 years. So I said, here's what we can do from an ICP. Went out and talked to 15 customers. 11 of them were using the desk calendar. Right. I ain't paying $250 a month for Hot Schedules. So a lot of our customer base in the Midwest is just, hey man, they're running in spreadsheets and on desktop calendars, right? So we said, man, we could do way better than that. And we could include it into our value proposition, so you love us and we love you. What a concept. We launched a backup product. We have all these files in their restaurant and all the things. We said, man, we need to have a backup product. Well, let's build a backup product. So we went and did that in India. So I built we established an office, and what town was that, Jay, you went to? Kochi, India. Hired people, built an office, put our sign, or no, we didn't get a sign. That was fake, right? That was fake. It's a lie from the pit of hell. But it looked cool on the picture they sent me because they put a big engaged picture in it. And we fired them about a year in. And it wasn't because they were bad. It's because we couldn't control it, couldn't manage it, and our cultures were just very disturbingly different. And we said, man, we can't manage that. So I shut it down, and we said, hey, let's finish this product internally. Thankfully, Mike Berg came in, he fixed that up, patched it up, and now we have a backup product that customers can take all their business files and have a backup place securely that they can get to for their business. Kitchen display, that's a really great way to keep and make a promise about, hey, give me $1 and I'll save you $5. Kitchen display is really, really important in the philosophy of running a restaurant. Smarter, better, faster, and cheaper. Why? Does everyone know how important KDS is in running that business?
Increases hours.
Door-to-door time? Is that what we said?
Reduces errors.
I'm sorry?
Reduces errors.
Reduces errors, yep. Timing plates together.
Saves paper. Loses the ticket.
You don't lose the ticket, saves paper, right? What happens when it's all about 4 customers sitting down at the table, getting their food fresh and hot, all portioned properly, all in the right time together? How amazing would that be? Right? It's the experience. That kitchen display system is what drives your customer experience, especially when you time all the items and do all the deep work that we've done at Engage. I would say we're at 80% of what QRS does. Would that be a good QSR? What? Who cares? They're out of business by now. I call them all the wrong name. I call Discover Discovery. I call Dinnerware Dinnerware. It's somewhat intentional, but then it just becomes my habit. But that is the core driver of the customer experience. The core driver of the customer experience. And we have customers that aren't willing to get their timings in for every item, and timings that have variables between this cook and this cook. And when they're passive about their business, that's when we step up. That's the promise we owe. We went and bought a phone company 5 years ago, something like that. I was like, man, we need to figure out the phone marketplace. Let's buy a phone company. So we bought this little phone company. It was very minimal, right? And we learned about how to work as a partner to the FCC for reporting. Jay took that and partnered with a VoIP company, and we kind of knew a lot of the pricing you have access to as a telephone company, so it really made us think. How many of you know that you can make 60 points margin in a telephone product? Sam knows. You know, most everybody doesn't know that because every offer that's out there in the market is about a 15 to 20% referral margin. We said, nah, we got to do way better than that. We got to save our customers 15% on their car insurance. VoIP product. And we had to build a product that worked in a restaurant. It had to have back of house VoIP. It had to have front of house VoIP. It had to know, I had to have GMs at homes and owners at homes that could all be on the same and feel like they're in the business. So we built a product for restaurateurs because we owed them a promise. So we made it and kept it. Online ordering. Remember 5 years ago when nobody cared? And then that flu thing broke out. I got SARS too in China, I think. I was laid up. I was going to die in Shanghai. It was amazing. Somebody smuggled me out on a train to Beijing to get me on a train because they had shut all the airports down with those big thermal panels. And if you walk through it, and I had a fever of 105.4. And so they're like, we can't take you through the airport. We're going to get you on a train and take you to Beijing and fly you home from there. I was like, cool. Oh, yeah. I brought it home. Hey, everybody, guess what I got? But anyways, that really impacted the world, right? It really changed, and online ordering became extremely important. Well, and then you had to do discounts and coupons and gift card redemption, and I have to see that menu in a very simple way, and I have to see my repeat orders, and it has to turn into a real online ordering product too. Or else what's the promise you're going to break with your customer? It has to be all those things. Correct, Sean? Correct, Billy? Correct, Cheryl? That's a promise we said we're going to go make and keep. Rewards. How many of you know that you can increase the revenue of a restaurant through a very specific rewards platform by 17% of their total revenue in 1 year. How many of you know that you can drive 17% growth in a restaurant by actually managing a rewards program that drives and creates variable into their business and creates growth? And guess what the worst, stupidest thing that was ever invented in a restaurant is? Any ideas?
Happy hour.
Happy hour. The stupidest thing they ever did. Because they trained them, only come at this time. They trained them, hey, you know what? Our stuff isn't that valuable, so come get it cheap. Stupidest thing they ever did. And so we train them about rewarding good behavior and removing bad ideas. And if you can't talk about your products and your services rightly, you're going to say, do you want me to set you up a happy hour in your menuing? Sorry, that's personal. We also knew that we had to be a managed service provider. We needed to take that jukebox, and we needed to take those pull tabs, and we needed to take those cameras, and we needed to take those products and put that into what was segregated network, right? That's our device. Don't touch it. Oh, I promise not to touch it. Go in, they're all full, right? Right? Had to get my computer in my office working somehow to look at my email. We knew that we had to have a Wi-Fi product because someday they're going to want to walk a POS all the way around a business and actually do commerce. So we started with Wi-Fi. How do you actually perfect Wi-Fi in advance? And then, matter of fact, if we're going to put up Wi-Fi, let's launch guest Wi-Fi and ask for the emails so we can actually promote a rewards program to them later. Whoops. That's just running the business. Hey, you know what? We probably have to have a cell backup, right? You got to put the Meraki in with the device, or you got to have the whatever network dream product, Ubiquity, and I got to get a 4G card in there, now 5G. I don't know if you can do that over the LTE and 5G on those cards now, but you have to have that capability. Well, here's one thing. How many of you guys are doing DAS servers now? One at a time. How many of just one at a time? How many of you do DAS servers currently? What is a DAS server? Anybody? Sam knows.
Cell boosting.
Right, distributed antenna server, right? You have to do this. Why? Because guess what happened? 5G. Guess what doesn't work inside the restaurant anymore? You go into a restaurant, you get one bar or no bar now. It's because 5G hits those. It doesn't propagate through buildings the way LTE and 4G did. So putting a little device on the building and selling that as a service for a couple $100 a month so you can redistribute 5 bars of cellular in there for them. What a concept. Those are the things that keep you valuable to your customers. Those are the things that you have to run. You have to run your business. You have to be saying, hey, here's something. It's impacting this, we have to do this thing. So, that's what Engage is doing very successfully today. We decided, you know what would be smart? We should maybe talk about having a strategic alliance. Because I've been around, I'm old enough, I was born in 1971. And I know that you don't get married without doing a little dating first. Anybody make that work yet? Or you just get married that day? Anybody? Man, I just want to be in one group. I asked that in Beijing once. I was talking to like 5,000 people. I asked that question, and I thought I was going to get the same response when hundreds of hands went up. I went, oh, sorry. How did it work out, I said. Somebody's interpreting in a very low tone. I don't know. Not a lot of nodding going on. So what we decided is, hey, we know and love you guys, but now let's date. Let's figure out how we do things together. How can we work together? Because we don't, I'm old enough to know you don't merge until you know how you're going to merge rightly, and that it becomes everybody's want and need and desire to merge. That's how you do it. And so you build these little things that I learned 22 years ago in the corporate side of the world, is that you work through strategic alliance. Not joint ventures. That's where you both put money in, you build a new co around that. So we're not doing that either. We're doing a strategic alliance. What we're doing is augmenting the already existing partnership we already have. Last I heard, we're kind of a big thing at Bold. Premier customer, platinum customer. I mean, we settle at one of the top customers, top 10, whatever, right? Well, we know because we have a great relationship together and we value one another. That is important to us to now extend that to say, hey, so you guys did something really smart. You guys went out and started building out distribution. Distribution takes time, it takes trust, it takes volume, and it takes that. So now we have this distribution. Maybe we should be selling some of these products into those trusted markets to actually bring in. We have an ICP that reaches about 30 to 40% of our current serviceable, obtainable market. Notice I didn't say serviceable, addressable market. Those are for consultants, not CEOs. CEOs talk about obtainable goals, not available goals. We speak very clearly about those things. We look at it from an obtainable market perspective. That is only less than 1% for us. I mean, we only represent about 3% of the restaurants in Minnesota. And we run a multi-million-dollar profitable business. Facts. Why? It's because we actually add so much value when we ask for a buck, we give them more than we'll ever ask for. And it drives up EBITDA goals. So we know you guys have great distribution that we want to channel and partner together. We're testing that logic now with a handful of dealers are going to tell us, hey, whether they like that product or not. We are going to go through a rebranding from sales, so we're not talking about engage and sale, and so we're going to rebrand and talk about that. I know the team's going to be looking at that as well. So we want to put some energy into that. We also didn't build out the dealer back office, right? So there's things that your team knows about. Hey, here's what they're really going to look for, and here's what we need to be readied for and prepared for. We're actually hiring developers at Engage for the first time now since merger. I'm not going to lie to you guys either. Sean and Mike, that level of development, crazy. They're crazy good. I mean, what they build, how they do it, yeah, I would take 10 against them in a heartbeat. And they're so good and so talented. But now we owe them some of their time and life back and getting some nucleus built. So we got one onboarded now, and Sean's actually looking to hire 2 more. One right away, another to follow. But we need to start the integrations of those products inside the Bold and Tonic channels because the market needs it. But we're going to be coming in hot with a very clear ICP. Matter of fact, I'll say it so simple, and I want your response on this. How would you like to replace your Focus, your Aloha, your Future, your Dinnerware, and what's the other one? What is it? Sure. Mobile Bytes, just maybe not even Mobile Bytes, but just these legacy thought, because it looks a lot like Focus product. It's sexier though, I think. And it does way more in a sense. How you doing? So our ICP is really simple. Would you like to replace Focus, Future, Aloha, right? It's very simple for a dealer to go, yeah, I want to replace those. Why? Because Shift4 is not the nicest company in the world. Did you guys know that? Yeah. Do you know what makes them really not nice? Want to in on a little CEO secret? They're public. They have to beat their numbers every 90 days or their stock gets hammered. Public is not what people think it is. Why? Because when I make an investment in a stock, I want to see my stock grow as a shareholder. Always. You owe me, B. That's how the American market works. I don't want to undersimplify it, but I don't want to overcomplex it either. They're public. They took they took public equities from shareholders, and they owe you growth. And that's what they live by and die by every quarter. Like clockwork, it makes them horrible to try to be a good partner to them. So that's to our advantage. To go in and say, hey, we're a private company filled with people that love you and love your business and love this industry. We love the American dream, and we want to bring those products through the dealers, and we're going to test that with a handful of your dealers right now. We're going to go out and do that work and find out for real. I'm not going to tell you that's the right thing to do, because that would be a bad CEO job, wouldn't it? Wouldn't that be a horrible job? To say, oh, the CEO told us to go do this, but we didn't go and ask customers and what they felt and our partners, right? So does that ICP sound very simple to you, that we are here to replace focus products? Imagine the inertia and our belief behind that. Now they just have to agree with us. Yes, that can. So let's let them agree with us or not. That's how we're going to approach this. And if that all goes well, we are going to talk about your service center. We're going to look at your service center because James Cooey is a stud. If you're watching us, where's the camera? Way back there? Hang on, guys. If you guys want to talk to James with me, he's back here. Stud muffin. James is so exceptional. He's such a wonderful, caring, hardworking, and that dude gets it. He's going to be integral to our leadership team to help us with our LMS and frameworks and the things that Colette's crushing this framework and bringing this in. Well, great. Let's start building out our LMS systems. Let's start bringing this together. So I'm going to talk about BDR later. So if you guys want to really know the truth of what we have to do, it's all called around business development. It's something we really don't do much of, Kelly. Thank you. But our business development was 1-800-ACT-SCARY. And Kelly, and they were amazing. But we didn't build a system around it. So when we stopped doing that, and we didn't have that focus, we didn't see that channel growth. We're going to automate that, and we're going to develop that out. And I want you guys in on a little secret. Those that don't attend my seminar, there's a large portion of our sales team doing BDR work and a large portion of our service team doing BDR work, and it has the data and the system, and the effort has no home. We're going to fix that. Sam is going to fix that. Trey Gaskins is going to start building out our playbook on what that needs to look like. He's going to be doing a lot of assessment. Trey, can you stand up just for a second? Because I don't know if everyone's going to be in that same thing. Trey is going to be working with all of us very deeply to mine that information to know we know in our knower. And then we're going to go do that work. And I'm going to go fast. I'm the fastest CEO you've ever seen. When it comes to, when you know what to do, then go do that, right? And then I'm extremely patient when it has to have a system, and it needs to be signed off, and it needs to be agreeable. So on the count of one, that's how it works. We row together. Here's your targets, and then I'm done. Here's our target. See that word target? See the goal and see the word target? Very important you distinct those two things. I'm going to let you think about that just for a second. Why isn't a goal and a target a goal? Why isn't the target a goal a target? Why is that? Why does it say goals and then it says target?
Like the goal is what you do and the target is what you're after.
Yes! John, say that really loud for everybody.
No, I don't do that.
Me neither.
Yeah, I can tell.
John, please share that.
Yeah, it's what we're going to do and what we're going for.
Yes. What are we after? You said it really well. This is what we have to do. This goal of converting existing indirect bold mids to advantage pricing. Somebody had that earlier. Who raised your hand who said that earlier? Thank you. That's the intuition. Do you guys remember when I told you guys have all the answers? Remember when I told you that? None of this should look foreign to you. None of this should look like some surprise. I'm bringing clarity to it because what we can clarify, we will simplify, and what we can simplify, we can lead. So converting those is going to take some system. Our target is 1,000. 1,000. That's just a target. That has a deep impact on how that EBITDA goal will look if we hit those targets. But it's not, I'm not saying that that target is also your goal because we don't know how long, how much effort we have to put into the system to bring that to viability. We'll be way more clear and concise as we go forward because I know CEO work. You can't just bark things out and pretend that you know when I know that's a target right now. It's very important that this is something we aim for and we strive for and we understand the target, but then we also have to be unbelievably loving and truthful about the fact that yes, this system exists or it doesn't exist, or this target is way off one way or the other because of this information. That's how we're going to work together. So 1,000, anybody got anything to say about converting just existing mids to advanced pricing mids about that? Does that seem like the right goal? Goal, not target. Does that seem like the right goal?
Yes. The goal is right.
The goal is right. Now, the target, if anyone tells me what the target is, I'll give you $1 million if we hit it. But you got to be exact. Anybody got that in you? None of us do.
1 to 1 million?
No, I'll give you $1 million if you can tell me the exact target will hit at this exact time. That is something that CEOs don't talk about rightly. This is a target. This is an idea. This is something to stimulate what we're looking at to get to where we want to go. It's a target. And until we start working on it, we don't know. But it's a target. You aim at nothing, you'll hit it every time. Aim at nothing, you'll hit it every time. So have a target. And that's what we'll start running to and really working towards and putting our real energy behind and systems and data and making those decisions to see where that's going to land. But you got to have some target, yeah? Convert existing direct point of sale mids to advantage pricing. We have 170 of those. How many people would benefit from having advanced pricing strategies in their restaurant? All of them. All of them. So we have this target of 170. Again, is this the right goal? Yes or no? The goal is right. The target is questionable. We got to figure that out together. How many of you guys are willing to work on those targets with me in row? Show of hands. Sweet. Sweet. Because I'll give you everything I got. Sign new direct POS mids to advantage pricing, 20. That target just kind of went in there, right? But so the target wasn't that impressive, was it? The goal is the right thinking. So this is a goal because it gets us thinking about systems, platform, delivery, predictability. So keep in mind the goal is about how you build the business. The targets is how you really drive EBITDA and outcomes, yeah? Anybody disagree that you need to sign new direct POS mids to advantage pricing? If we do 100 of them, shouldn't 20% of them be that at least? Kind of simple, right? Net new bold indirect mids. This is a biggie. Right now we average last year 41 per month net. Net new. Everybody know what net new means?
I mean, the ones we lose and the ones we get.
Yeah, so if I have 1,000 customers, so our net new, so at Dish Network, so public information too, you can go check it out. How many retail customers did Dish Network have to have a month in August of 2021 per month to break even, to have a net new of 0? How many did they have to do a month? Do you remember this number? Sam, no. I wrote it down because I thought I'm going to preach about this someday along the line because this is a hilarious number. 306,000 new customers to go installed, onboarded by 18,000 installers and about 7,000 dealers had to do 306,000 in August of 2021. So on September 1st, they would have break even. Can you believe that? Who was leading this? saying, man, we're going the right way. We're trying to break even. Woo! Crazy. They left, they abandoned their marketplace. They didn't go into streaming fast enough. Just asleep at the wheel. Matter of fact, most of the executives of that company were running a lifestyle business. That's what it was going on. So do you guys believe that 200 of those as a target, going from 41 to 200 net gain a month is a target? We agree it's a target, right? Now, how many of you would like to talk to me about the net new bold indirect mids as a goal? Does anyone have a discomfort, the fact that we have to have net new mid gain monthly? So we have the right goal, right? We unilaterally agree on these goals. Well, guess how much work is going to go into this part for Colette and her team? And BDR work. And partnership work. Where do you think most of our effort's going to go, right? Why? It's because we know that's what we know we can do that. We have 325 signed partners, 220 that are getting a paycheck and only 55 active. As a CEO, I'm going to say, hey, can we pick this fruit? Boop. Right? It's where we already know the business. Hey, you guys did such a great job building the business. Let's go back and pick the orchard, shall we? So a lot of work's going to go into that. So when you see this larger target, you're also going to see a larger emphasis on the boat going that direction in unity. Yeah? All of us work that work. Then we have new Tonic, new Tonic accounts, 100, just because they're going to call us and order those this year. And we're going to work really hard at building a stable, reliable product to get to that earned position. We owe it to the market. And we owe it to our future of 2027. Edie, are we going to have a reliable product by the end of the year? Great goal. Now, the target we might have to talk through. Well, no, but that's our hope, right? We want to have that. Then we're talking about net new engaged POS mids. We put that as a goal, as a strategic alliance, because if our dealers really have that ICP right now and we could just go please them and make them happy, is that a goal that you guys can agree with me on? Yeah? Target, questionable. We don't even know what the first dealers say. But we had to have some target up there so we can aim at something. Does that make sense, targets, how I look at that? Because that's going to be constantly evolving and constantly being challenged. And we're going to actually make certain that we're talking about that as a team together. Cool? All right. We are going to talk about how we're actually going to hit those, talk about how we know those are the goals, and then how are we going to start supporting those targets. Does anyone want to be in on a little secret of business? Does anyone want to know the true secret of business? It's found in your business development. It's always found in your business development, because if you think that whatever got you there will keep you there, you are lying to yourself. Whatever gets you there will never keep you there. You always have to be improving and developing your business. It's called business development, and it's a philosophy. It's a simple philosophy. So we have this one slide to talk about, but the philosophy is it becomes a foundation of your core beliefs. Do you actually believe in your product? Because right now, I'll tell you, a lot of you don't, nor should you. We have work to do on our product. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not going to tell you something that I don't believe, because that would make me a liar. And I'll never lie to you. I'll tell you right now, we have work to do just to get to where our foundation needs to be set. Right now, we're digging the actual hole out for the basement right now. Anybody have a basement? That's a foreign concept to a lot of people. I grew up in Minnesota. Everyone gets a free house underneath their house. It's so cool. Who wants a free house? I dug it 8 feet deep. This is going to be great. So, but it's right now we're just digging it out and getting it squared up, and we're starting to put the foundation in place. And we will be talking about how we actually, those targets can become relative, not hit, but relative, and how we're going to aim at those targets. And it's done through a very simple process called business development. Business development, again, core foundation of our beliefs. It becomes our guiding purpose. Are you smoking in here, Scott? He has an Apple pencil in his mouth. It's built by our actions. How many of you guys believe your actions matter every day, all day?
Every day?
Right.
Especially if you have kids.
Yeah, right. Yeah. If you have kids, yes. How many of you believe that we have the systems to support our actions without a bunch of gobbledygook? Oh, come on. How many of us have all the systems we need to perform our activities in a very logical manner that we don't feel overwhelmed by? Really? Brian, thank you, brother. Brian's like, I got this, man. Well, systems are the guide to business development. If you really want to build something predictable, you have to really plan out, how am I going to access core data? How is that data going to be accurate to actually give me interpreted business intelligence that actually allows me to make smarter, better, faster, and cheaper decisions? I'm going to tell you, fail all you want. Yep, I'll say it again. Fail all you want. I am a fail-forward person all the time. Fail forward. You fail fast and you fail cheap. Because you say, hey man, this isn't working. Vern, this ain't working. What's not working? Well, this piece and this piece. All right, how do we fix it? What do we do? Who do we need to bring this in? How do we actually resolve this so we can actually really work under that? If we're not failing, we're not trying. Failure is your guide to know what to do next. And then when something works, shout it from the mountaintop. When something's working, hey, here's this thing we did. We're getting the result that we wanted. Celebrate that, shout it from the mountaintops, because that's part of business development. You have to share what works and you have to share what doesn't work. It's about the philosophy, and that is when your culture is believable. I am not going to stand up here and tell you what your culture should be. I'm not. Do I believe in our core values? Absolutely. Do I believe that that's a culture that we are really aiming to? Absolutely. Now it's how do we actually do that together? How do we fail together? How do we win together? And how do we challenge and change constantly? That is the philosophy of business development. It becomes our way of doing things. I talked about my father in the very beginning of this. And I found out at 17 years old, I could lay about 600 to 700 block a day. Everyone else on the crew that had been doing it for some of them decades were laying about 250 block a day. Yeah. Why? Because I wanted to impress my father, my grandfather, my great uncles, my cousins. They all worked there. And I wanted to be the fastest and best. And guess what? My father would walk past my walls. I'd lay to the line, so I wasn't doing the hard leads. I would lay to a line in like big warehouses and post-distribution centers. And I would lay to the line and I would get 4 tenders to keep up to me. Mud and block. And I would just lay block. Move scaffold, lay block! That's what I would yell. My team's heard this from me. All right, team, lay block! And it was wheels. It was full on. And my father would walk by. I would lay 200 to 300% more block than anybody else. And he would walk past my wall and with one of those big carpenter pencils and put a mark on every block that was tipped a little bit. And I felt so bad until I got there at like 5 in the morning before anybody else did one night. It was in Denton, Texas, at their North Texas University. And we built their gymnasium. So I got there at about 5 in the morning. The sun wasn't up yet. I took a flashlight out of one of my dad's trucks, and I put it against walls, because that's when you can really see the walls tip. And I marked up where I wasn't laying block, and I marked up every tip that I could see, because it's an instant shadow. And then everybody walked. They got there at about 7 o'clock. They saw, and I used a red one, the red it's like clay or something. I don't know what it was made of. Grease pen, yeah. So I did it in red. Whew. Shouldn't have done that. But I marked red on every block that was tipped that I didn't lay. And it was marked up. You can see this. My dad pulled up and, what in the bark, bark, bark? And I just wanted to show you how your other guys did. I didn't realize everyone had the same thing I was doing. My quality was being called out, and my quality was just as good, and I didn't even know it. You see what kind of culture that was building? That's when I learned about culture. I was 17 years old, and I learned I was being called out. And then I found out something more dramatic. I was being paid, what's that called? It's like nepotism rate, where, they don't have to pay you the full union rate because you're a family member, right? So I was making like $14 an hour, and I found out everybody else was making like $33 an hour. Whew. Learned about culture a lot more that day. It was alarming to me to think that we don't really work things clearly and honestly and rightly. He was just trying to drive me to be the best and fastest. I think he could have chose a different way to do that. Just my opinion. I want us to know I'm not going to mark your blocks on you. I'm not going to walk by and play any gotchas with you guys. Business development is a very patient game. It takes time, it takes planning, it takes communication, it takes total honesty and total trust. We have to trust each other and say, hey, here's what's really going on. And we are going to bring our teams together to actually, on one, we're going to do that together. So when we talk about BDR, we're going to talk about how do we engage a market? Because it's not about promotion. Engaging a market is done by understanding who your market is, what your ideal customer is, what you can do to make certain that we're doing all those things rightly, that we can actually do that many, many times. And there's a playbook. Trey could probably stand up and talk about that for, I don't know, a few hours easy. I mean, you know this stuff. I mean, Trey's the one that brought and taught me this playbook in small business and what that should look like and how to, and man, I was sold out. Matter of fact, he actually helped me years ago with Engage, and we had one of those, we didn't have a whiteboard, we had the little big Post-its. We had lined up hallways in the whole living room and built a business model and BDR work to actually go to work and go do this thing. And it really changed the DNA of how we approach the business. Do you guys remember that, Johnny, Scott, Billy? You guys were there when that happened. Jay? And it was outlandish to us at first, was it not? Like, what you talking about, Willis?
Dating yourself there.
Yeah. Born in 71. I'm old. I'm fine with that. This is as close to hell as I get. So, it starts with market engagement, and then here's where it really gets very interesting to me. You have to form an agreement with one another. Your customer, you have to form agreements internally before you go and ask partners to agree with you as well. Because before you start wanting customers to agree with your partners, you have to have great agreement internally and with your partner, and then with their customers and with their patrons. This is where it really gets interesting in BDR. Are you guys always thinking about the actual card user?
Yes.
Are you?
Yeah.
Are all of us doing that? Because that is amazing. Thank you. That's the real engine of what business development should look like, is what's happening at that card level. That person swiping the card or putting orders in the kitchen and that table coming out on time. I took a bunch of us to breakfast after church one morning, and I always buy breakfast. It's what I do. I buy people food. We sit down, it's like 6 of us. They didn't even take my order. Well, they took my order. It didn't go anywhere. So here I am buying breakfast for everybody, and I never even got food. They finally brought me a little plate of hash browns like an hour in. Yeah, we're going to start your order when the kitchen frees up. Everyone's done eating. And I thought, this isn't the greatest customer experience, but maybe it's just me. They moved to toast. None of them use the device. They write it down on paper. I thought, oh, but I thought you moved to toast so you could use the device. Anyways, you have to have an agreement to work together. And most companies miss that. They miss the level of agreement, because what happens in the agreement is where the negotiation and the documentation and the ability to agree and understand. I don't agree to anything I don't understand. How many of you guys understand all the problems we're dealing with? Because I don't. And until we start talking about that and getting a deep assessment around that and understanding that, we can then form agreement. Guess what's going to happen next? After we form this agreement, we go to work. What do you think is going to happen next? We're going to fail. We're going to fail at it amazingly. We're going to miss the mark. But it's what holds you together and what binds you together in our BDR and our business development work is the fact that we're doing it together. We've agreed to do that. Then these activities drives towards what is agreed upon. We start seeing these things. Targets become realized because of the actual work we agreed on. We start doing these activities. We start failing. We start moving through that. We start winning. We find out what works. We find out what data points we need. All of those things become, Sam said, Vern, I'm going to tell you right now, I'm going to measure everything. Did you not say that? I'm going to measure everything. Well, why he talks about that is because that's how business development works. If you don't measure it all, you won't really have an insight into what's happening. And when we make these activities and these changes and these things, we'll never know if that's right or wrong without doing that work. Those are the 3 stages. And this is the team we row together. We're all involved in BDR. I don't know if you guys knew this or not. All people in a company are involved in BDR work. The business development, we represent the business development of our companies together. And now we're going to actually channel and find, okay, who's doing BDR work and how do we build a system around that and actually populate that into a known playbook and get it out of the people that are doing sales work and service work so they can focus on the things they actually are supposed to be doing all day. No, you can clap. Colette's up here clapping. That is a new world. It's a focused world. Focused, you're welcome if you're watching. It's a focused world. It's taking what, hey, this is just happening. We don't allow that in leadership. We actually look at that, we hold it captive, and we root that out, and we actually say, okay, let's bring that out. That means we're going to have to put people in a spot that actually is managed, and they're building a system, and they're doing actual BDR work so other people can do their focused work. One of the things I see business development inside our product needs to be a partnership with marketing, because I witnessed we were releasing features and an output that marketing had no idea. Chris, tell me if I'm lying. Nobody knew what the feature was that it was going to be releasing. It was just boop, popping out. Crazy. I have a rule. Gary, what's my rule? Stop doing stupid. Don't do stupid stuff. Don't do it. Don't think about doing it. Don't do stupid stuff. That's the only rule I really have. Don't do stupid stuff. That is, have an alignment, have communication, have a system. That's how BDR works. It helps us run our business according to what, not to what according to what the market says and tells us they need. It really has to do is what we want the market to say. So we at Engage, I want to take you why we've struggled through this. This was not easy for us. We wanted to be something more than just a POS. Because when I got to this marketplace, I thought POS meant something else. I was like, POS, is that what you guys really call it? And you're not laughing your butt off, or am I just a 15-year-old boy? Timing. Do you know why Minnesotans can't tell jokes timing? Okay. Do you know why Minnesotans can't tell jokes? Timing. So, we have to tell the market what we want them, we have to show the market what we want them to know and believe about us. We stepped out onto a journey to tell them that we were an all-tech business. We didn't want to be just point of sale. Why? It's because people change their point of sale in this industry way too often. They change their POS more than they change their menu pricing. I kid you not, walked into an opportunity, they sell 100 different hamburgers. I still don't know how to split a check, and I don't care to. But I was showing off, hey, here's our business, here's what we do, here's how we care about their business. Well, show me your system. Yeah, I can't do that. And I didn't really care about that. I cared about, well, what's in your business? And I asked a simple question to this guy. What was the name of that place, Scotty? You remember? Joe got a free hamburger. King's Place or something, yeah. Never. We had a sales guy that was really a sales guy, right? Love him dearly. He's a great sales guy. He goes in there, gets, hey, do you want a burger? Yeah, I'll give you a burger. I ain't buying your stuff. You know, you're one of 5 POS companies. And he doesn't pay for his burger. So Joe sends him a card thanking him for his time, handwritten, old school sales guy stuff, right? Hey, thanks for your time. Please consider us. Sends him a note. The guy calls and says, the guy didn't even pay for his hamburger. So Joe sends him another note that says, hey, just wanted to thank you. Also, thank you for your hamburger. Just keep us in mind. Sends him another card and doesn't pay for the burger. I was like, oh. If you had a point of sale system, maybe I would have paid for your burger. Crazy stuff. So I got in the credit card. The only reason we added credit cards so quickly is because we found out that credit card processors were lying to our restaurant customers. So you have to have EMV, blah, 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 bark, bark, bark. And I was like, we have to get into this business just to protect our customers. Here's what we did. Here's a business development model for you guys. So here's how we entered payment processing. We entered in by doing their processing and trading them their processing. Hey, do your processing, we'll give you free support. We weren't just going to profiteer and just be their processor, because we found out, did you know you don't have to do anything as a credit card salesperson? No, really. Just sign here, free money. I mean, I wasn't willing to do that, so I said, no, we're going to give you free support. So we canceled $100,000 a year of support contracts by switching people to our own processing. By saying, hey, do our processing and we're going to give you free support. Way before you could get free 24/7 support included with your point of sale. We did that as a value proposition. And it's part of how business development works. What can I do that I get money for, and what can I do for you that gives you a service? Because just getting free money just didn't sound like a great service opportunity. It didn't seem something, I wasn't comfortable with that. Just getting free money. It's not something I wanted to do. And we wanted the market to say something about us. A trusted partner. That's right in our core values. We, in our being our oneness statements, we want to be their trusted ally. That means you have to do uncommon things in this business compared to your competitors. I'm going to tell you right now, most of your competitors suck. Horrible people. If they're watching, yes, you. Horrible people. They predicate on businesses, and I think that we owe them something. When we do business with them, we have to make everything right with them. We have to do things that are uncommon in this business to be thought of as uncommon. We knew that when we walked into this, business development for us is we built all tech. We needed to be more than. And that means you have to have a playbook that does that, because here's what I do know about business development as well. It is going to cost us a bit. What we do as a company, as we keep adding services and products and offerings, that complexity requires system. Your business development, your costing, your business modeling, all those things get impacted by that, because the complexity of what we do is going to continue to increase when we have to do all of these things rightly and support that rightly. So our business development is a funnel in between sales and service. I want to explain this real high level. Business development is a funnel of activity that says, hey, I got this person, they have a need, want, desire, and I need to get that into a hand in a playbook where that person has a deep understanding of what we can do to help them and brings them into a qualified lead process. Getting them rightly back to sales, knowing that this is what they qualified, here's how they got there, rather than, hey, Dan, here's a problem, good luck. In France, they say, bon chance. Still means good luck. That is how BDR systems work. But it takes a lot of complexity, and you have to find out all those things happening in your business to get those rightly aligned so we can get it into a qualified. And I only want to pick the orchard we're in right now. I don't want to add a whole bunch more business opportunities out there, because we have a lot of work to do before we do that. So we have to take care of and nurture the business and orchard we have today. We need to care for those that are in our care today. That's what we're going to do with BDR. And all of you are going to play a part of that. And it's all about getting them into, not out of the sales piece and out of the service piece, and rightly into how we business develop and represent them through our business to get that lead generation back into the qualified hands of those people's activities that are actually growing the business. Imagine if you weren't dealing with things that, I don't know if this grows the business or not, or if I don't know if this service thing is really right, I don't know what to do with this, so it just kind of falls through the crate. It's getting it rightly aligned into our business, and it works like this. Marketing guides your product, your pricing, your placement, your promotion, right? Development is actually building on that and having agreement with them so we can actually generate that through the right ICP and IPP. So we have the right partners and the right profiling of customers being done. Then that actually turns into, that's a BDR process before it turns into a sales item. See, there's work to be done before you just lob it over. And that's all we're doing right now. Our activities are just wheelbarrows of stuff to say, hey, good luck, sort that out. That's not what we're doing. We're going to build process within those two markets. Between marketing and sales, we're going to build BDR function. Any questions about business development right now, high level? Something even I could answer? If you generate questions at the end of this, Slack me, DM me, right on Slack. I'll put my phone number out too, and if you guys want to just text me, that's fine as well. But you guys are welcome to reach out to me anytime, all the time. I don't really sleep a lot. My kids are all grown, and my grandboys they're not fun yet. They're not. Well, I mean, Brooks is 3, he's getting fun, but he can get ornery real fast at 3, right? He's fun for like a little while. It's like a gremlin where you dump water on him or feed him after midnight or something.
I guess for BDR, how do we help our partners with their lead generation?
Great question. Once we get the oxygen mask fitted around our own face, one of the things that we're going to be doing is actually having those tools and systems. And if you want to be the highest valued partner in the marketplace, generate qualified leads through your BDR system and bring those to your partners. That's the greatest indirect channel capability any company can do. When I'm calling my partner, hey, I got these 3 leads for you in your market. Focus used to do that for us. Scott would be like dancing jigs. I'm not a dancer. Tyler, can you do a little dance for us? Yeah, Tyler, I got this. He's like, I'm going to buy you that dance. Do you have the game dance thing? I don't know, where you dance. Yeah, Dance Revolution. Do you have that? You need it. All right, I'm in. So that's exactly precisely what we are going to do next. We have to get the mask on our own face and be able to work at altitude ourselves and figure out those systems. But we need that for our own direct efforts in Minnesota, in Atlanta, and in Oregon. Did you guys know we have direct customers in those 3 markets pretty predominantly? Yeah? How do you feel about the management of those direct customers? Think we're really highly involved in their business and really driving exceptional value and support and outcome for them and their futures? A lot of shaking heads going on. That's just work that we need to do. And so when we show how we do that for ourselves and really can nurture that and make it smarter, better, faster, and cheaper. And one thing that also Gary and Tyler did an extremely great job is Tonic is known. Bold is known. And so when you actually are supporting your own brand in a market, and if we do an engaged thing where it gets deeper into a merger acquisition partnership, that level, and we're generating leads for known products that through a trusted ally, that's when you are going to actually 10x your business. So if you want to know when you'll 10x your business, it's at that hinge point. That's when that happens. But if you don't simplify, clarify, and lead it, that will never happen. That's the exact recipe. It's that simple too. It's that simple. Simple. Any other questions? Yeah?
How do we best help our partners with attrition?
Yeah. So we have attrition problems with customers, right? But it's built into this market. So one of the things I know about this market, attrition is actually fabricated into the model. So it's built by design. Customers change their processors more so than even their POS until POS said, nope, you can't process, right? Because we used to get VAR sheets from people wanting to change on Focus all the time. So we knew, they were trying to switch processors. That happened more than even switching point of sale. So how do we help them ISVs? Here's how you do it. And this is how simple it is. How much do you know about that ISV and that VAR that's getting attrition, that's attriting? What do they know about their business that keeps that from attrition?
They could know more.
They could know a lot more. So us having the answer to understanding how you lock down, how are they building values in that, hey, you're going to lose all these other values if you change your processing. That's how you do that. It's that simple. How many people change their processing on sale? A big fat 0. How many people change their processing on Tonic? A big fat 0, because it was in your intentional business model.
We're not losing clients for processing, we're losing them for the point of sale.
Correct. So let's fix the point of sale, because then we have this really nice low attrition market once we have a reliable product. So we know what to fix on that. Again, very simple. From a product perspective, we have to improve the reliability and those feature sets that are required, and then we won't lose them either. But on the ISV side, if they don't start locking down their softwares and their offering into the marketplace, and we don't teach them how to do that, or to add value within that costs them for changing processing, that's how you start changing those models. It's that simple. It's that simple. And it's done one ISV and one VAR at a time. It's taking that captive, taking that all-tech methodology and applying it. Hey, what else can you guys be doing in that market? Hey, do you want to do our VoIP product? Do you want to do the scheduling product? Do you want to do a rewards platform? Because they're not just for sale. All those products can be done for whatever product. Tonic first, right? But also others. So they're standalone products. We built them as standalone. I challenge that online ordering should be standalone, but that's a big lift because of the deep integration required. But some of those things have to be realized and biz dev'd. So I would love to know more about the different personas in our ISV channels and in our VAR channels, so we can actually pick off some of the lowest hanging fruit to figure out how do we help support that so they don't attrit. Make sense? Good answer, bad answer? Yeah. Why? I have 40,000 hours of this already in me. So when somebody works 80 hours a week for almost 10 years, that's 4,000 hours a year times 10 years is 40,000 hours. I have 40,000 hours of experience in this. So when I tell you I know the simple answer, it's because I've done it for 40,000 hours. Relentlessly. I had 2 weeks off mowing grass. And then that guy called me. If it wasn't Gary, I probably would have, bark, bark, click. And if it wasn't Tyler, knowing his heart, I wouldn't have responded the same way because I didn't respond good. I had to go talk to my pastor, and my pastor's like, well, Vern, you should probably be thinking about this. Is this something that's happening in your life? I mean, you should really challenge this thinking a little bit. And I was like, man, you haven't listened to a freaking word I said. That's what I told him. He's like, okay. He pluribus unum. And that is wanting, but it was the fact that why did I spend 40,000 hours of this to not give you everything I got? I want that legacy for you guys. You guys have worked way too hard to not have that. And I'll tell you what, Gary and Tyler want that for you too. They've worked tens of thousands of more hours than I have. So we want this for you. We want this for our Engage partnership. And these people, I love them. Engage is my family. When companies say, oh, and that's our family, they're my family. Die to defend them. Any place, anytime, anywhere. Love them dearly. They are my family. Jonathan's like a nephew, so that's a little different. His dad's my best friend, so he's really old. It helps us run our business according to what we really want the market to say about us because we design that. That's business development. And we are going to go give that. Once we get that right, that playbook starts coming together and that system is being built and we find the sales and marketing and dev working in unity, that's when we're going to go give it away to the world. We are going to be their greatest ally in this marketplace because of the trust that Gary and Tyler bring into this and the care that you guys have and the heart you have for this. That's how business development is going to work. And right now it doesn't exist. It's such a huge gap in this business. And it's the thing we're going to solve first. Cool? That's all I have to say about that.